passion is for the future.
What's going on, everybody? My name's Unsound. I'm here with 3/6, half the team of cl1cc, team competing in CC. We're gonna be talking about just CC, what you guys expect out of it, how you guys plan to compete in Master, and just roster, everything like that. So, yeah, let's just jump right into it. My first question is mainly for cl1c. Obviously, this team is, the same team as Hivemind, not the same roster, but the same team. So my question is, what was the purpose for, the rebrand and, the re-rosterization of the team? Obviously, keeping Captain Will. Just what turned Hivemind into what we now know as cl1c?
Hivemind was dead after last season, and I think it was Mo was still rostered. And I thought since Hivemind was already top 15th or something like that, that we wouldn't have to do MMR recalc if me and Will stayed on. And so that's what we did. And turned out we should have gotten our MMR recalced, but we would have been able to be in Master Quals. But Diamond has been educational for us.
Oh yeah, have you learned a lot?
Yes.
What have you learned, cl1c?
Go into it with realistic expectations.
Understandable. So why? So what happened towards the end of Hivemind? What caused that team to die?
Well, I just wasn't feeling it anymore. If I want to play comp, then most of the time I'm in it for the fun. I'm not in it to become an actual professional Echo player yet, and it just wasn't that fun anymore.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So that answers my first question. So my next question is. For Chuck and Pero, how did you guys end up joining cl1c?
I think I just got a DM from cl1c in a group, and we were both looking for teams, and this was one of the rosters that we were trying out. And I knew that I've played with Link before, and our stat chemistry is pretty good from when we played on Wrath together. And then I think I had played with cl1c a few times and knew he was good, so felt like a good match. We ran some scrims and went smooth. Pretty much it.
And what about you?
Yeah, kind of the same for me. cl1c approached me after Corrosion imploded. And cl1c was one of several teams I was trying out for, but it was, my first option, so when I got in, I got in.
Nice. So, the next question is, so obviously you guys are one of the teams competing in CC, along with, some of the higher up teams that we're kind of paying attention to as a community, along with Ace, Body87, and Havoc. How do you guys expect to perform in CC? Obviously, there is a free spot in Master, and Kango isn't really performing up to a lot of people's expectations at the moment. That could change in CC. Obviously, nobody's counting them out because they're Kangorillas. Body87 seem to be the favorites for taking that 10th spot, that free spot in Master. So my question is, how do you guys expect to perform, and what are your expectations going into it?
Well, we've scrimmed at Ace a lot, and it's pretty close a lot of the time. Sometimes they just sweep us, sometimes we sweep them. But so if either of us kick each other out of Master Quals or Challenger Cup, that's going to be unfortunate. But yeah, we haven't played Body87, so that's going to be an interesting match if we get to play them.
Okay, so you're going into that match completely blind.
Yeah, somewhat. We've seen their matches, so we know what to expect, but we just haven't played against them directly.
Okay, I see. And then what about you, Chuck?
Yeah, I think that's probably Ace, 87, and we've played Havoc before, and I think if we play well, we can play with anybody in that cup. It's just a matter of putting it all together for at least 2 rounds, against all those teams. And then with Challenger Cup, it's I always feel there's surprises, because it's a long format. I know it's broken up over 2 days now, but it's a lot of games to play, and I feel sometimes in those longer formats when people have come off of either like really tough losses or like really hyped up wins that there's upsets that happen. I think so. Like really, I don't think you can take it easy against anybody in that cup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up too high after a lot of CCs I've played, but I'm hopeful.
Corrosion
I
curse.
think we can do it. Yeah, corrosion
Oh
curse.
no.
Curse.
So I gotta kick Pero off the roster real quick.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know, man. All I'm saying is we've seen it transfer onto other teams before, so who knows?
We'll see.
Anyways, so that was something I wanted to go into about. So CC and Elite Cup and these tournaments, the big thing that defines them is they're not a game. They're not like a two-setter. Like these are entire drawn-out tournaments, and endurance plays a really big factor in that. You know, we've seen teams that we say, okay, this team is, I don't know, 9-0, 8-1, 7-2. So like they have a really good record. They'll be able to sweep no problem. It'll be fine. But then endurance plays a part in it, and suddenly, you know, it's almost like a different meta. You have to kind of conserve your energy, this, that. So my question is, how do you guys plan on playing in a more drawn out type of game and keeping your endurance and morale high throughout it?
I think it's tough, man. I think it's just like it kind of depends game to game because like win or lose, there's like a mental reset that has to happen, and it's like a little bit different both ways, you know. So like, but I totally, you know, I 100% feel what you're saying. I think like Overkill last season, right? Like they were crushing all their diamond games, and then just like for some reason in the Challenger Cups it just like didn't work out. And the same thing happened with Wrath the season before that. We placed like third in like a bunch of consecutive Challenger Cups. Like we just couldn't get through, you know. So it's I don't know, maybe like I don't have the answer, but it depends on like what kind of game you're coming off of. And like I think it'll be better to have it split over 2 days, you know, to just kind of like take a deep breath overnight basically. But beyond that, it's kind of like it's like when you lose a round and you have to regroup, but like back to back, you know.
Yeah, understandable. Callan, what are your thoughts on going into it?
Well, like Chuck said, you have to reset after each match. That's one of the big ones. Like if you take a loss early on, it can just ruin the whole thing for you. So you need to get over it relatively quickly. But as of saving endurance, I don't know how much we should do that, because if we think about long term more than the short term, it could cost us like a match or two on accident. So I think it'd be better to focus on winning each round as they come, and then dealing with it after each match if we're tired.
I think at least like Link and I are used to playing in Beer League where it's like more matches than the Challenger Cup even back to back.
Or yeah, back
So,
like
like,
in
that helps a
ESL
little
days, like the Saturday
yeah,
Cups.
for sure.
Dude, those
were
were so long.
long.
That's an all-day event.
You have to clear your calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sub, so I might not be playing depending on, because I assume main roster will all be available for CC, but I mean, if they need me, I'm here, so I'll do my best.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So obviously, you know, there's tough competition in CC right now. You know, you have Ace, who's comprised of all master players, and especially all master players that have forwarded the meta and play style of Echo Arena. You know, 2 players formerly on Ignite, and then Sluna and Rosie, both very high level master players formerly. And then you also have the Bite of 87, currently 8-0, haven't lost a game yet, and comprised of all master level players on starting roster at least. So my question is, what team do you think is going to give you the most run for your money? What team do you think is the toughest going into the tournament that you're going to have to deal with? And, you know, yeah, what do you think is going to be the outcome of that?
Honestly, I think Ace is going to be our biggest challenge. Like, we have played them a good amount, so we know what to expect. But they're relentless. Like Rocks and Dash in between rounds, they already have analyzed the round, and so they know what to do for the next round going into it. So we need to be prepared for that and adapt at each play they do and each defense they run. 87 could be a challenge. I'm not sure what to expect there because they beat Ace, but there could be 1,000 reasons why.
Yeah, I think it depends on it. Like Ace, I feel like is really consistent. Well, maybe I don't know. It's I think it depends too. I don't know if they'll have their full main roster, but like both of them, and I try not to get like too wrapped up in like what teams are full of like master players, because like I don't know, that doesn't mean a whole lot to me, I guess, because like any of those teams, like you saw like in the past, like high voltage, maybe it was like last season or season before, like break into master when like nobody thought they should be there, you know, like so I think like it depends. Like there are teams that I'm not gonna like be like, oh, this team's not Ace or 87, like I'm gonna chill, because anybody can kind of pop off in these things.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just did the episode with Zen, formerly known as High Voltage, and they were considering Havoc. You know, obviously you, Ace, and Bite of 87 are the top 3 teams, and you're the most respected and, you know, most expected to break into Master, if any of you. But they, you know, they didn't count out Havoc, and they kind of showed some sort of, you know, this team isn't, like you were saying, Chuck, this team isn't one of these, so we're just going to chill against it. And High Voltage being one of those teams that, you know, nobody really expected them to break into Master, but when they did, they proved themselves in Master, and they haven't dropped out since. You know, I feel like it is a kind of a mistake and an unfortunate thing to count teams like that out. Anyways, Para, what do you expect, and what's the toughest team going in CC?
Oh, I agree with Chuck and Cal. It's mostly Ace and 87, kind of for different reasons, because one, we know how they play and we know they're good, and the other because we don't, but I mean, yeah. Same thing as they said, I guess.
I mean, yeah, and 87 is, like I said, they're the only team that hasn't lost the game this season, well, besides teams in Master, obviously. I mean, they took the game against Ace, and yeah, it's, you know, a team like that, I think it's crucial to know not only them as players, but personality-wise. Obviously, a number of people on that team aren't exactly considered to be you know, the most serious or, you know, easily tilted, so you have to, you know, take that into account as well. So along with Ace, where it's like, okay, well, people in here are calm and collected, and they don't really tilt. So along with that, I think those are things to consider. But how do you, you know, given the circumstance of how you guys expect to do in CC, if you guys do make it into Master, what do you guys, how do you guys expect to hold up and adapt to the play in Master versus Diamond? And where do you expect to be by the end of the season?
So we've been trying to consistently screw Master teams the whole time we've been a team, at least. We had a bunch before the season even started, and we were doing fine, I think. And then to be in Diamond, that actually helped us a lot because it changes your playstyle a lot. So even taking an L, like, that's been educational. So we know now what to, like, how to reset better. Like in between matches for Challenger Cups, in between plays even, like if we get shat on, like, can I swear? Do you care?
I'll just bleep it. You
Right,
can
yeah,
do
so
it. I'll just be like, beep, yeah.
All right, yeah, so if we get shit on in like 5 plays in a row, then we're better equipped to like react to it now, I think. What was the question? Kind of got derailed.
It was where, like, you know, how do you expect to hold up, and where do you expect to be by the end of the season in Master?
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't want to expect something crazy, but from what we've been playing like so far, I think we can be at least out of future Challenger Cups. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I want to be for sure. I mean, like, it's not like secret. Like, I've been kind of stuck in High Diamond for a long time, and I'm trying to get back into the Master tier and get into that style of play. I think it's going to be like, if we get into Master, like, I feel like everything's just a bit faster, and you kind of like can't afford to make the same kind of mistakes you can get away with in the Diamond games, or at least in some of the Diamond games.
Yeah, it is the same for me here. I just like hope to get out of CC range, and after that, we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Nice. And you know, there's a lot of players that have just been stuck in high diamond, and they haven't really been able to get the success to get out of diamond and into master. And even when they do, it's for a short period of time. Obviously, there's a lot of players like that, and there's too many to be named. But why do you guys think is the biggest reason for that? Specifically, you, Chuck, since you brought it up.
I don't know. I think like one, I'd say like for looking at myself, I don't think like I have a like complete skill set. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still working a lot on like I know that like brawling is something that I'm not, especially like defensively brawling is something that I'm bad at. Like I was running 1v1s with Callan like literally 30 minutes ago to try to get that better. So like I think it's just a matter of like it takes a lot of time and like focus on the right things to improve specific parts of the game. That's where I feel like I've been stuck. It's like not having the full tool set and like trying to put the time together to develop everything.
Mm-hmm. And Per and Kellen, do you guys have any remarks on that?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I agree, but also it's a little bit just luck, and some people, like some teams, some people, it just doesn't work out, I guess. I mean, part of it is skill, part of it is chemistry,
It's a
but
skill issue,
sometimes it's just, yeah, sometimes it's just, you get a bad day, you get a bad week, and messes with you.
Mm-hmm. And then Callan, do you have?
Yeah, so a lot of it's like Per said, like you could have a bad day, you could have a great day. Like Hivemind got into Master, and I think we got into Master pretty fairly. Like it wasn't our best day, it wasn't our worst day, but we like I don't want to say easily, but a lot of our matches weren't quite like close. So, and we're definitely better than Hivemind, but the question is how many other teams also improved that much?
Yeah. Given that Kingo is the bottom one, so if you guys were to go against Kingo in the bracket, how do you guys reckon you would do?
I mean, again, I don't even think they'd be our biggest challenge. Our biggest challenge would be Ace or 87 still. Like, we've scrimmed Kang, like, not once or twice. Like, it's been a solid amount. So I think, yeah, we need to worry about Ace and 87 more than them, at least for now.
You putting together like a Kang motivational mixtape right now?
Oh yeah.
Like getting everybody's thoughts on like how we think about Kang and.
I mean, think about it like long term. Kang was like consistently second place.
Yeah, that's something I brought up to that's something
they
I brought
either
up
need to step it up or figure something out.
Them. It's
yeah.
Kang's been the number one team, not a number one. They've been a top 3 team since ESL season 2, and so this is the first time they're really dealing with a chance at not being in the top teams anymore. So it's them being the bottom is kind of a big deal, and it's something we have to take into account. Like, how is this going to affect the rest of Master Tier and the style of the game?
Yeah, they've had roster changes though. To be fair, like that's it's not a team that's been together for a really long time. Yeah, I think there was like
what 23
Strem and
know that. Yeah, the roster right now is Leverage, Kaz, Speedy, Wit, Empty, and Wolf 23.
Yeah, and that's tough. We know how, like, the ones that left, we know how good they are, So I think it's just tough
to go and win VRML.
Have those like high expectations, and then like also have to be building a team and like readjusting and all that. So.
Mm-hmm. So obviously you talked earlier about having a lot of knowledge going into Ace, and obviously that team being expected to be one of your biggest challenges in CC. How valuable do you think that is going into it, and how much of an advantage do you think it is having that much info on the team? And do you think, is it a possibility that they might change something up to kind of throw you off your game, or how do you think that's going to work?
So, having played them is definitely better than not having played them at all. Like, we can watch as many VODs we want of 87, but that's still different from like first-hand experience. But Ace, so you said something about having them switch it up. That's their whole strategy. They don't run consistent plays at all. So them switching it up is like what they do naturally. So I don't know if we should go into match expecting that or what. But yeah, experience is a great thing to have, and I'm glad we have experience against them.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Like, it's just like a different kind of challenge, right? Like, because what we've been doing basically for the whole season so far is like, we don't know what the team's going to look like really for these matches, and so it's all about like trying to diagnose what's happening and come up with a plan to counter it, like in game, like in the breaks between rounds or like in a timeout or whatever. But then like you kind of know that like Ace is going to bring something different, you know, to Challenger Cup than they've been running for, you know, against us and scrims and all that. So like, I don't know. It's just like a different kind of like, it's like the mental game's a little different from thinking, you know, and like kind of maybe trying to prepare for like what might they do different to like what's going on right now, like in the game, and like how can we counter this?
Yeah, I guess it's just like a different kind of puzzle, I guess, because one team you know how they play, you know they don't have a specific strategy, so you can plan around it. But if you don't know what a team is going to do at all, then you have to just like wait for the game and see what happens.
Yeah. One of the last final remarks is like, where do you guys expect to be, you know, next season 6 or 7? Is there an eventual chance that you guys expect to win a championship in VRML?
Guaranteed click winner season 42.
Season 42. I'm gonna be 80.
Yeah.
By then.
Well,
Jesus.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
At the rate we're
How
going,
many
yeah.
years is that?
I'm
But,
not predicting
I mean,
any like.
Shark's
go ahead.
arthritis
Yeah.
is gonna get to him.
Well,
It'll be
because we're the only
over.
ones left.
Him and Ascend are gonna be like sitting on a chair in like nowhere. It'll be in like a field.
But yeah, in all seriousness, it totally depends on where we end up this time. Like if we end up, I don't know, top 5, for example, then we'll just keep practicing what we've been doing because obviously it's been working to some degree. But if we're like 15th to 20th, we're gonna have to figure some stuff out and change it up and practice a lot more to make it back up to master.
Nice.
So
Well,
yeah.
So for the last little bit, do you guys have any final remarks of what you guys plan to do, or what's what are the last things?
87, we're coming for you.